Jongseung from Seoul, the capital of the Korean Republic. It's his first World Championship appearance for the 21-year-old.
And now be ready to greet his opponent in the blue corner of the ring from Croatia, Mateo KOMADINA.
His opponent is from Croatia, Mateo KOMADINA. Reigning Croatian national champion. Experienced in World Series boxing, but this his first appearance at a World Championships since way back in Almaty 2013. There is the experienced figure. 27 years of age now. He's the Croatian boxer. So, Christy Robin Rosario of the United States of America is our referee. She's issued the final instructions and called time to get us underway in this 63.5 kilogram lightweight to welterweight contest between boxers from the Korean Republic and Croatia. Lee, the man wearing red, has experience on the continental stage as he takes a stiff southpaw left there. I first saw him in Tashkent at the Asian Championships. We lost in the preliminary stages at 64 kilograms. Since that time, he's competed extensively in his homeland. Also saw him in Jordan at the Asia-Oceania qualification event where I was commentating, but was eliminated in the first preliminary round, so not able to progress through to the Olympic Games. As for KOMADINA, well, so much experience under his belt, the Croatian national champion. Of course, when you compete in World Series boxing, you're up against top fellow AIBA boxers over the course of 5 3-minute rounds, and he represented in that tournament during the 2018 season. Halfway through the opening round, KOMADINA very relaxed, took a good right hand over the top there from Lee. Lee looking for the same shot, but it was blocked by the left glove of KOMADINA. Beautiful right-left combination scored by the man in blue. Physical on the inside, Lee looking to work away, but he was tied up by KOMADINA, who locked his gloves beneath his elbows. So KOMADINA up on his toes, trying to time him with that lead right hand. And again, same tactic applied. Lee trying to demonstrate that it's not he who is doing the holding. Good movement on the back foot from KOMADINA to make Lee fall short, but Lee kept the attack going to pin KOMADINA to the ropes. But KOMADINA is doing a good job of tying up one or both of the hands of his opponent to prevent him working away. And again, neither man looking to work on the inside here. I mean, Lee tapping away with the right hand upstairs, but I do find that rather strange. That's an opportunity to score points and weaken your opponent to the body, but neither of them were looking to do so during the previous coming together. Almost just accepting the clinch, and that's the left hand which causes Lee to take a trip to the canvas. Half blocked it with his forearm, but the weight of it was sufficient that with his feet in a tangle, it's a knockdown blow. A knockdown suffered by the Korean boxer just as the bell sounded. KOMADINA helps himself to another southpaw left. So that's going to be a unanimous round, one suspects, in favor of Komadina. The knockdown won't necessarily impact the scoreline as it does in professional boxing, where as soon as you send your opponent to the floor, the convention is that it's a 10-8 round, but 10-9 across the board in favor of Komadina. It's an inconvenience and indeed an embarrassment endured by Lee, but it's part of the sport, but no boxer likes to be knocked down. Some of the action from the first round where in the early stages, Komadina was able to find a range with his southpaw left. And that was a cracking right-left combination from the man in blue. And there was the knockdown. The arm rearing up to partially block the shot, but the feet got in a tangle, and down he went. Lee knocked down to conclude the first round. So into the second round then, as Komadina lands with a hard left hand before the boxers fall into one another. And again, when they come together, both men just accepting it. Neither of them looking to work on the inside, and infighting, an art in itself, of course. But neither of these boxers looking to demonstrate that, as we see here. Forearm and the heel of the glove applied by Lee on the inside. The referee from America speaking to him about that infringement. Heads come together between the southpaw and orthodox boxer. But again, sportsmanship is all very well, but again, infighting is part of the sport, and neither of these men are demonstrating that here. Good right hand on the resumption. It ended up being a trade-off between Lee and Komadina. Lee looking to get to work to both body and head. Again, midway through the second round, both boxers just appear to have some type of agreement between the two of them. Okay, when we get into this territory, we're not going to let our hands go, but there's a double right hand success from Lee. Perhaps his best portion of the contest. But again, clever tactics being demonstrated by the man from Croatia, because he's often on the blind side of the referee, has locked up one of the arms of his opponent on a regular basis. Lee looking to free himself up from the clinches that Komadina is looking to employ. But it's an untidy contest, this one. Minute to go in the second round. So Lee looking to target the body. Komadina perhaps slapping with his attempted southpaw left. Looking for the same shot once again. Took a forearm from the right flank of the man in red, who then for the first time, Lee, perhaps tried to dig a shot to the body. But these two styles not gelling to make an aesthetically pleasing contest. But again, there is plenty of commitment and will to win in evidence from both boxers. But why they are leaving this portion of the game unattended to, I find it surprising to say the least. Good right left, just as the 10-second clapper sounds, straight between the guard of Lee from Komadina. Good right hand landed by Lee as Komadina's chin went up in the air in the closing stages of the second round. Lee appears absolutely exhausted in this, his first World Championships, hanging over the rope while the stool took a while to come in. Lee conceding the second round on a 4-1 split. So it's a 20 points to 18 lead for Komadina for judges 2, 3, 4, and 5. It is all square on the card of judge 1. 19 points apiece after 2 completed rounds. Well, there was a right-hand success for Lee. During that trade-off, Komadina landing with the left hook. And there was the spearing right-left between the defenses of the man in red from Komadina.
Ring 8 seconds held. Round 3.
So into the third and final round we go then. Jongseung took a share of the second round for Judge A. But KOMADINA, well, he spent an awful lot of the contest in this type of posture. So it's almost as though he's fighting in bursts when he chooses to, because every time they get into short range, it's KOMADINA who just ties his man up and doesn't work away, but he had his knees dipped there by that left hand to the chin. And look at how keen he is to hold on. And during the clinch, while KOMADINA was looking to buy himself some more time, forearms were going in, elbows were going in from Lee. And as he winds up, he's picked off by a sharp single from KOMADINA, who's now up on his toes and on his bike, just allowing his head to clear. He wraps his man up on the inside once again. But all of a sudden, KOMADINA has got a bit of a frail look about him. And Lee, desperate to get his hands out of there. I'm surprised there's not been a warning about the excessive holding, because it's venturing into that territory now for my money. A clinch is, of course, a legitimate part of the sport. And again, this time it's a left hand that checks the chin of KOMADINA. And he's hanging on for dear life once again. Lee trying to work away with the left hand. But KOMADINA, this is turning into a hug fest, bordering on the ridiculous from the man in blue. Still just over a minute to go. And every shot that Lee is landing is having an increasingly pronounced effect on the boxing stance of KOMADINA. And he's clinging on like a koala bear here in the closing stages, trying to get his boxing back once again. He lands a good southpaw left. But we've been seeing this practically from the opening bell, and the referee hasn't done anything about it. I think these are spoiling tactics being applied by the man in blue. Again, clinch is a legitimate part of the game, but they have been so prevalent in this contest that it's often resembled something other than boxing. And for the most part, it's been KOMADINA who has been initiating the clinches. Good single shot landed by KOMADINA on the resumption. Heads coming together there as Lee fell in. And again, trying to free himself up to get some room for his punches. Well, 10-second clapper, indicating the closing stages. And once again, unsurprisingly, and it's perhaps quite fitting that the contest ends with a clinch. I think it's KOMADINA who's done enough to progress through to the round of 32 here in the light welterweight division. Lee gave it absolutely everything, and for the second consecutive round, the stool hasn't come in, and he appears to need it with some urgency. Well, it's KOMADINA who will be going through to the second preliminary round for my money. This man gave it absolutely everything and had some success, but he just didn't have the ring craft or experience at this stage of his career to prevent himself from being tied up. And you have to say, well, that's clever, a clever tactical approach from KOMADINA. He's done enough to get the victory. But he did have some difficult moments, particularly in that third and final round, where he was caught by some hard singles from the man in red.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the bout number 39 in the ring A, the winner on points by split decision is the boxer out of the blue corner.
There's confirmation of a split decision victory for the man from Croatia. Mateo KOMADINA going through on a 4-1 split to the second preliminary round. Jongseung came close to getting his man out of there in the third and final round. Dipped his knees when he caught him with a couple of cracking punches. Plenty of holding in evidence from KOMADINA, but you have to say he managed the bout well, including scoring that knockdown with his southpaw left. It's the man from Croatia who goes through to the round of 32.